Please rewind this cassette.
What's up, guys? We're going to be looking at the new Criterion releases and rating them and saying if they're worthy of the collection. Although Criterion hasn't been up to par over the last several years, so it's kind of ridiculous at this point to even consider it the Criterion collection anymore as it once was. Hopefully, I can turn this into a series. I've been thinking about just looking at them and kind of a little bit more quick videos like this, but let's not waste time and just jump in. New releases. Oh, Black History Month. That's right. Malcolm X. Okay, let's start here. Bergman Island. Sure, fine. I didn't love this at all or anything, but whatever. I'll give it a pass. This is not a Muriel. This is not a burial. It's a resurrection. I actually never saw this, so I don't know how to comment on it or not. Lars von Trier's Europe trilogy. No, thank you. I know von Trier's loved by the Letterboxd crowd, but I'm not a huge fan. What's on here? The Element of Crime, Epidemic, and Europa. Yeah, none of those are great. None of those are great. That's a pretty cliche release. Not a big fan. I would take this one off. Imitation of Life. Fantastic release. That's a great one. See, this is classic Criterion. This is Kino right here. Yeah, Imitation of Life is absolutely wonderful. I might actually have to go pick that one up. I like the cover too. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. This is a surprise. Holy crap. I have this on Blu-ray. This is Terry Gilliam's most underrated film out of that run he had in the 80s going into the 90s. Like, you'll always hear talk about Brazil being a masterpiece. Time Bandits has a huge cult following and has a Criterion release. I have a poster up for it on the wall over there. Both those movies are amazing. I think this is the most entertaining one, though. It's the most watchable one. It's got all of the production design and amazing directing and costumes and characterization and humor that's in those other films, but I think this is an insanely underrated movie. It was a huge bomb at the box office. It cost like $40 million dollars and didn't even make like 20, I think, but one of my favorite movies of all time. I actually think it's a phenomenal film, and this is a great release. One of the best produced films I've ever seen. Coolie High. I only saw this once, but I think that's an important release. I don't mind that being on there. The Velvet Underground documentary by Todd Haynes. Sure. I guess. I guess we have to put every documentary like this on the Criterion Collection now. 3 films by May Zetterling. Wonder what the films are. Problem is, I haven't seen some of these films in like 15 years. You know, back in the day, I had to torrent films like this to find them. What ones are they? It doesn't say what the films are, I guess. Oh, Loving Couples. Yeah, that's good. Well, this is a fine release. I got no problem with this. Michael Haneke trilogy. Oh my god. This is that Lars von Trier thing. I'm just not on this bandwagon with Michael Haneke. Let's see what's on here. The Seventh Continent, Benny's Video, and 71 Fragments of a Chronology of Chance. I remember liking Benny's Video, even though it's just the typical stuff he does in all of his movies. I don't remember the Seventh Continent too well, and I don't think I ever saw 71 Fragments. But I would take this one off. I'm not pro Michael Haneke. If you want to put Cachet on here, which I think it's already been released, that's fine. But to me, he's only made like 2 actually great films. Funny Games as well, the original Funny Games. Malcolm X, definitely a deserved release. I think this already had a release on Criterion, if I'm correct. And this might be a new release, but I'm not sure. This is easily his second best film behind Do the Right Thing. If not his best film, honestly, the 3-hour epic. But this is Denzel Washington's best performance. It's a true epic. It's absolutely phenomenal. So I have no issues with that being on here. Malcolm X is a great movie. Wall-E. That's right. That's fucking stupid. Take Wall-E off this. This is ridiculous. Why would I get a Criterion of Wall-E when I can watch it on 4K on Disney Plus? What would be the purpose of owning Wall-E? There's no benefit to this. I'm not knocking Wall-E. It's a great movie. This just, it shouldn't be on Criterion. I hate when they take these movies that are on streaming services that are like big releases. They don't need a Criterion release. Wally doesn't benefit from this at all. It's just like, because Criterion's a brand now, they'll just slap it on something. Same thing here with Power of the Dog. Like, I'm gonna spend $40. Like, I guarantee you this shit's $40. Yeah, I'm gonna spend $40 to own a movie that's a Netflix exclusive that I can just watch on Netflix. Like The Irishman or Marriage Story, they released that too. Like, oh boy, what would I do if Criterion didn't release these films in physical form? Now, I know what the thing is. It's because there isn't a physical version of these movies, so Criterion's doing that for Netflix. I understand if you wanted to own this physically, this gives you the option to. I'm fine with all that. It's just not worth $40. That's my argument. Like, I would pay, $15, $20 for a release of a movie like this. That would be perfectly fine. But the collectible value is lacking here, like it would be with some of these other releases. Like Imitation of Life, that would be a really cool disc to own. Because even Baron Munchausen, you wouldn't need to own the Criterion. There's a Blu-ray out. But Power of Dog, absolutely pointless release. Even though I'm a Jane Campion fan, Angel at My Table is an amazing movie. One of my favorite movies ever. The Piano. Infernal Affairs trilogy. There we go. There we go. I see you, Criterion. I see you. I don't know if I saw all three of these. I've seen Infernal Affairs. I didn't know there was like a third one. I have no idea if it's good or not. That's pretty dope, though. I'm down for that. So most of these releases are honestly pretty solid. Some of them are freaking terrible. Let's go to coming soon. Okay, coming soon. There's one about here I'm really excited about that I heard about that I've been waiting on for years. Triangle of Sadness, come on. Every movie he makes is automatically going to get a Criterion release. Small Axe, sure. Seventh Seal re-release, cool. Fisher King re-release, fine. Chilly Scenes of Winter, very good, actually. Inland Empire, that's a tough one. Like, I know some Lynch stands think it's like low-key great, and I know that The Return sort of justified this movie. Same with Fire Walk with Me, but I just don't think this should be on the Criterion Collection. I'm gonna go no with that one. Take that one off. Last Hurrah for Chivalry, fantastic. Really underrated, really forgotten. Even though it's not that old, I think, but it's pretty dope. I'm happy with that. That's a cool release. Okay. Mildred Pierce, the old one, not that terrible HBO miniseries with Kate Winslet. This is the one I was waiting for, Hollywood Shuffle. This is a phenomenal release. This is a fantastic release. Robert Townsend made this movie for like $100,000 by maxing out credit cards. This is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I'm a huge Robert Townsend fan. He never really did anything this good again. But this movie has some of the funniest sketches ever done in a movie or a show or anything. It's honestly like a proto Chappelle show. There's stuff in here that's really groundbreaking when it comes to race. An amazing message at the end, too. It has a great kind of whimsy to it at the end that's really wonderful. Great film. It's a low-budget film, so it doesn't like technically look great, but the content's great. Two films by Margaret Duras. Two films. No, I don't think I've actually seen any of this work. I hate to say, so I don't have a judgment on this. I feel bad about it. I apologize. Dazed and Confused re-release. That's fine. I already own this disc. I actually have that poster and everything. But yeah, always down for Dazed and Confused. Best hangout movie ever made. Maybe the most rewatchable movie I've ever seen, too. It's definitely up there. Ooh, the 70s Romeo and Juliet. I believe 1970. Yeah, that's a good one. And I guess the Three Colors re-release, which it feels like they re-release Three Colors every 6 months. I was just actually talking to a friend about this the other day. We were arguing. We weren't arguing, but we were discussing if we liked blue or red better. And everyone always says blue, but I actually think red is the best of the trilogy. I also think it's Kieslowski's best film. Although Double Life of Veronique's pretty great. So these are all pretty dope releases, honestly. Like there's a couple in here I'm not happy with, but this is really nice. The Hollywood Shuffle one though, I'm definitely picking that up. I have been like championing that film since I was a teenager. since I was probably like 12 or 13. I was telling everybody like this movie's awesome, it's great. It's a really groundbreaking film in the independent scene too. That's what makes it so important when you watch it. Is this really showed people that you can make a movie like Slacker or Clerks that led on where you can make a film for like a few $1,000s, 27,000 or 50,000, 100,000. Um, just if you had something in it that nobody else was really doing, and Townsend really tapped into that. It's an interesting cover too. I like the cover. It really kind of reflects what the movie is. But besides the black element of this movie, it really does capture like auditions, productions, the kind of projects that producers try to make, how they see people. Like the satire of this honestly hasn't lost any of its appeal over the time. And the one sketch in this that's a parody of Siskel and Ebert sneaking into the movies is a pretty good indictment on film criticism, and how up its own ass it can be sometimes. And it really depends on the perspective of the person reviewing the movies as opposed to the content, whether or not somebody gives a good or negative review. And I think he really, really gets onto here. But this is um, it's just a great movie. I'm really happy with this release. So that's awesome. That's the winner. I'm putting that at the top of the list. And some of those trilogies are, yeah, Lars von Trier and Michael Haneke. I'm taking those off. I don't care if film Twitter gets pissed off about that. Those movies suck. I don't want them on the Criterion Collection.